The Wild Center recently opened a new series of exhibits around its nature museum, partnering with the Six Nations Indian Museum, Akwesasne Cultural Center, and Native North American Traveling College, giving life to many Mohawk legends, traditions, and ways of life.
The exhibit's titled Ways of Knowing showcases through art form the connection the Mohawks have with Mother Earth and how customs and beliefs are entrenched in everyday life.
In this week's feature story, Akwesasne TV takes a look at how Akwesasne community members played an integral role in bringing a Native American perspective to the exhibit.
The stories of the Adirondacks have been told greatly with a Western perspective for years. The staff at the Wild Center in Tupper Lake decided to change that with Ways of Knowing. The Ways of Knowing event includes exhibits which offer a first-person perspective from Indigenous people in the region. The science-based museum collaborated with Akwesasne Cultural Center, the Six Nations Indian Museum, and the North Native American Traveling College to bring an authentic experience and understanding of the natural world and culture of Akwesasne. Many of those visiting or living in the Adirondacks aren't aware of the Indigenous presence in the area. The executive director of the Wild Center, Stephanie Ratcliffe, explains how she was one of those who was unaware and how she planned to fix that.
I had no idea for many years living right here in Saranac Lake and the Tupper Lake area about, the Mohawk people and the people that living in Akwesasne. I had no idea, and it took me, I'm embarrassed to say, many years to even find the Six Nations Museum. So I don't want that to happen anymore. I want more people to know that, our neighbors right next door have an incredible stories to tell and wonderful aspects of their culture. And what is really important to me is that the Wild Center interprets a place, and that is the Adirondack region. But there's so much knowledge about this place held by the original people that lived here.
The Wild Center worked with the Akwesasne Cultural Center to feature We Are Akwesasne, the Cultural Center's interactive traveling exhibit of Mohawk art, artifacts, songs, and stories created by Akwesasne youth, artists, and program coordinator Sue Ellen Hearn.
Well, it started out when the Wild Center came to us at the Cultural Center and asked if we were interested in partnering with them. They wanted to bring Indigenous knowledge to the Wild Center because they realized that everything was presented from a Western science viewpoint. And so the project started with just that idea, and then they did write a proposal. It wasn't funded right away, which happens a lot of times, so they reworked it and tried again. And so finally last year they were awarded funding from the Institute of Museum and Library Services. I'm really excited that We Are from Akwesasne, the exhibit that we did at the Akwesasne Museum, is at the Wild Center. It's very exciting. This is the biggest venue that it's ever been at. It's been traveling for about 13 years now, and so we're excited that it's still relevant. The people who are involved with it are excited to have it here too.
North Native American Traveling College has opened their exhibit on sacred foods, and cultural educator Lasandogwa Tarbell from the Traveling College wants people to come check it out.
The exhibit was very nice. It was Guahio Yanle, Tanaoni, Angaleu Nudis, ne Unka, Iunhle, a Desidawiat, ne Ganto, ne Wild Center, ne Asatkato, Gina Hoda, ne Guahio Yanle, ne Ganto. Now.
Artist Dave Fadden from Six Nations Indian Museum was commissioned by the Wild Center to create art reflecting culture. Fadden says he was inspired by Ohantun Galiwadekwa.
Well, when I was first approached by Stephanie, the executive director, and we had some discussions, and we walked around the space, the museum, and I really liked this space. The water and the windows and the natural lighting. It was really nice, and Stephanie allowed me to use this space to reinterpret. And immediately I thought of Ohando Galiwadekwa, because right away you have the water, you have the turtles, you have the fish, you have everything. All I had to do was add the art and the other things that aren't here, like the animals, the trees. And my initial thought about this space, it was too industrial looking. There were a lot of I-beams and cement columns and hard edges, and that doesn't really reflect the natural world. So my challenge was to create art that would soften that, create the illusion of a sky, of a forest, of the animals. And so I took out my sketchbook and started going and drawing and figuring placement of various things. And then through a series of meetings with the designers and curators here at the museum, they basically said they could do it.
Ways of Knowing is open to the public, and you get free admission with your tribal ID or status card until September 2019. I'm Kevin Lazor reporting, ATV Galiwanagale.
Yo hane, ka yo ani yo hane, yo hane.